Hello and welcome to Game Vitamins. My name is Nick, and today we are going to be going over the potential massive profits you could actually make by buying Karlov Manor. Now, I know that already sounds kind of weird because this set was talked about as being pretty much the worst one in 2024, that people had bought it and dumped it online at a loss, especially people who had pre-ordered it and had a massive stockpile of it. And now, all of a sudden, we're starting to see that the expected value within a box of Karlov is climbing pretty high, especially relative to the amount you have to pay to acquire a box. But before we dive into all of those nitty-gritty details, if you're new here, my channel goes over building a Magic the Gathering business. I documented it from ordering my very first boxes all the way to where I stand right now, a level 4 seller with still not that many sales. You can see from my videos that I haven't been doing it that long, but I am drawing conclusions like I've been doing it for years. So if you want to get a little bit of my insight, for whatever it's worth, feel free to subscribe and follow along for more. But without further ado, let's discuss a little bit more about Karlov Manor and why I think it's actually a very good potential at buying, reselling, and actually being able to make a little bit of profit. Also, I apologize if there's a lot of jump cuts in this video. I am kind of wrapping up being sick and I still have quite the cough, so I'm pausing to do that so you don't have to worry about listening to it. Anyway, as of today, Karlov Manor play boosters have now climbed to over 110 per box, including shipping on TCG Player. And the reason that you can't find them below 110 is because I bought them all out. Yeah, you did hear that right. There's only 2 here on the desk, which, believe it or not, I actually got 3 boxes at $90 per box. But then anything 110 and below, your boy bought it. So if you're trying to find it on the cheap, I kind of made my move already. But more will probably hit the market unless all of a sudden people are talking about how there's a big climb and people are buying up Karlov Manor. Maybe it's just my big mistake and I'm going to be along with all the people losing the money. But hear me out here because the thesis behind why I did that is very interesting. Now, if you've watched one of Rob's videos from RNG Games, he went over a website called MTG Box Sim, which essentially simulates the opening of different sealed products, such as Karlov Manor. And I had been using the tool for some time just to get a rough idea of where I would stand potentially if I opened several boxes of sealed product, knowing that some will be better, some will be really bad, but what would the average be? As you can see, and if you've watched my other videos, I've certainly been accumulating a little bit of inventory of sealed product, and most of it I've been deal hunting on really hard to make sure that I have positive returns off of opening and selling product. Especially since I'm new to TCG Player, the whole goal is to turn over a good amount of inventory and hopefully find some margin along the way. But what originally caught my eye with Karlov Manor is one, that people were selling it for as low as $90 a box online. And I thought, well, I might as well buy some because I don't really know what was going on in the set. I didn't buy it when it released, but I figured might as well have some in the off chance it appreciates. But that got me to run the simulation, get an idea of what there was that we could unpack for value here on average, and see if there was any potential when opening up a $90 box to get a little bit of return on it. If you're a returning viewer, you'd know that this is typically not my setup, and I'm still working on it because currently I'm building out the upstairs of my garage to be my recording and Magic the Gathering business space where everything will be up here. So excuse the lack of background right now. But the reason I mention that is because I have a desk in front of me with a computer on it. And today I'm actually going to bring you down onto the computer so you can get a little bit of an idea of what I'm looking at, what I'm using, and maybe you can use it for yourself. Maybe you can find some positive opportunities, and don't forget to share them with me because, we all got to make a little bit of money, right? Anyway, I guess I will shrink myself down a little bit and inflate my screen, but down here you can see that we are on a booster box simulator for Karlov Manor. The first simulation was at $194.90. So if what I did when I was looking at these is I essentially took 10 to 15 different simulated amounts and averaged them out. Now, I'm not going to do that all on video, but if I simulate again, you'll see that we have 148.19. So we're already still $50, $60 above the $90 a box and 40 above the 110 a box. I averaged out all of my costs of good, and when I bought it all, it comes out to about $107.50 per box that I paid. And once you see it, you'll see that there's actually, with fees, some potential at some pretty strong margin here. So another one comes in at 178 and then 120. So there's definitely going to be some duds, but law of large numbers, it'll average out. If we have a lot of boxes, boom, here's one high score, $240 almost. Now, a lot of the value here comes from surveil lands, something that you can actually get quite a few of through Karlov Manor playboxes. And I think that the overall sentiment with this set was just so negative that the price absolutely plummeted, and people didn't realize that there was actually going to be some value within the cards in the box. Not that the overall story and everything that was going on within Karlov Manor, that wasn't that great, but the cards have playability in the format. So if you're going to keep buying these, boom, look at that, $268 that I was just able to get going here. So you can see that there is potential at very high profit. There's also potential to have absolute duds. But what I found is that on average, the boxes came out to about $170, 170 to 180. And just to make sure that my strategy here wasn't totally flawed and that I was missing something, I broke it all out into Google Sheets and Excel just to get a better idea of where I would stand if I was to truly get all of these cards and sell them off. So what you're looking at now is my TCG Player sales analysis, real fancy for one line of Google Sheets here. So I'm going to go through cell by cell so you get an idea of how these numbers interact and what I'm looking at to decide whether or not this is a good deal and what gave me the conviction to buy more of the product. Again, I might be doing this so you don't have to. You might want to wait and find out if it was worth it at all. So if we take a look down at the Google Sheet here, we have our sales price of $160. Now, I just mentioned 170 to 180 on these boxes. And I even went as far as subscribing to Mox Alpha, another service that evaluates the EV of sealed product, just to make sure that I had it accurate. And if you look, it shows that the average EV is about 185. Theirs felt a little high, so I went with the lower number. I feel like it's always better to be conservative when you're analyzing these. And on top of it, I even took out some of the lower value cards, a lot of the commons and uncommons that are worth less than 20 cents or 19 cents, which is my floor price for listing them anyway. But since those won't have as high of a velocity to turn over, I want to make sure that this purchase is still going to make sense and it's not totally reliant on thousands and thousands of commons and uncommons that may or may not sell. So again, we're looking at the sheet here, and you can see that we've picked 160 for our sale price, and the transaction count is the amount of transactions on TCG Player that are going to happen. Now, I adjust this number constantly because I want to see what would happen if I had 504 transactions, selling every single card separately, or if I was even selling over 100 transactions, selling most of those cards. So you can see when I make those changes, the actual gross profit doesn't really change. At that point, shipping more orders really is just a pain in the butt. And the reason for that is because I dialed in my shipping to be about $1.49, where I'll actually break even after all of my costs to ship, including the fees that they take out of shipping, because there's already percentage being taken on that as well. And when you take it all into account, being at $1.27, you're actually losing money on your shipping, even when you're having some sort of spread there. It seems like you'll make money on it, but you don't. So I'm testing the waters with $1.49. I'm hoping once I have the big volume of inventory, people will still be willing to buy it. I've gotten several orders at $1.49 already, so we're going to roll with it for now, and it'll make it so I don't lose my shirt on this. Actually, it's so you don't lose your shirt on any reselling, because I will say the more transactions you have, these shipping fees and the fees they charge on your shipping, it eats into your margins really, really fast. Watch, I'll just drop this to $1.27 and boom, you're losing money on every single box. And I know, yes, I have $1 for shipping worked in. That is also a little bit more aggressive than what I think I actually pay. This tends to be around 91 cents is what I found, but still you're losing money at $1.27. So $1.49, that's a safe number, a safe amount to know that there's going to be insulation. And also I'm whittling down my sale price. So looks good on paper. We'll see if it works in reality. You'll never know unless you try. But before I drag on with all of this for too long, you can see that let's just change the transactions back to 252 so you can get an idea of a middle ground, an average of 2 cards per order. That's what I feel like I tend to get. Might even be 3 cards per order on average. But if we go to that, we can see how much we charge for shipping, what our total sales price was, selling the whole entire box at $160, the amount we charged on shipping. Total sales revenue there would be $535. Our cost of goods sold, you can see I did a little bit of a breakdown there. When I say I bought it out, it's not like I bought 200 boxes. I bought 22. But still, you can't find them for less than $110 now. And also, I averaged it up a little bit to $110 on all the boxes I got on TCG Player. Again, it's better to be conservative on your numbers and walk away with a little bit more money. Now, the vendor fees and processing fees are all calculated based off of the amount that we sold overall, as well as the number of transactions, since there's that 30 cents per transaction. Now, that will also really eat into you if your shipping is too low. So these are all things you need to think about. Lastly, the amount of shipping that I had to pay out of pocket. Again, dropped it to 91 cents. I was treating it like $1. Again, I say it all the time, but it's always nicer to look at lower numbers and then walk away with more. It's way better than lying to yourself and saying, oh, wait, oh, yeah, my shipping is only the cost of the stamps. And all of a sudden it looks like I'm making over 100%, doubling my money. And in reality, you might be walking away losing money if you're not charging enough for shipping and you're underestimating your shipping. You really need to watch every single penny. Now, lastly, you can see our gross profit number per box looking to be about $55, again, excluding the commons and uncommons that are not worth that much. This could be a lot higher if those slowly sell off over time, but I don't want to rely on that when running the numbers. They just don't sell at the same rate that rares and mythics do. So, well, or good uncommons. Again, I used a certain price range there. So margin, 51%. Now that is a very solid return on your money. And if you've been watching my videos, you know that my attitude towards this is that it is a volume game. It is a game of scale. And if you're doing one box, you're going to make $50. But if you're opening them at a fast pace, you're going to make $1,100. So that right there goes to show if you spend a weekend day opening everything, get it all listed. At the end of the day, if you have 1 of a certain card or 10 of a certain card, it's just a matter of updating the number in a spreadsheet and uploading it to TCG Player. So it's a game of volume, guys. It's a game of having enough to be able to get the inventory and sell it. Unfortunately, that is the reality, and you can certainly keep reinvesting into it. It's just that when there are certain opportunities, those gaps will probably close faster. So, sorry, I had to cough mid-sentence there. So when you see an opportunity, you want to jump on it. And that's what I'm doing with this one. We will see if it works. Please just don't yell at me too much in the comments. This might be a really bad idea, or it might work out and I'll make $1,000, or I'll break even. It doesn't really matter too much. I figure I'm learning here. This is a big move right off the bat. You know, you saw my other video, Modern Horizons 3. I went out, bought a ton of boxes of that because I got a great deal. I had to capitalize when I saw the opportunity. And that's the name of the game. It's not like I've turned them all over already. I'm actually trying to hold a higher price on TCG Player because I'm seeing that MH3 boxes are actually inching up a little bit in terms of there just not being that many posted. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens with Outlaws. Same thing. I got those at a great price, a little over 90 a box. These at 90 a box, other ones at 110, average at 107. So there's room for opportunity here. It's not always going to be consistent. So that's the thing, is you need to be able to look at some of these numbers and say, okay, I have enough conviction to take this risk. And at the end of the day, I've run other businesses, and I still run other businesses, where I have sat there, looked at the numbers and said, this makes sense. Now I just need to pull the trigger and say I am committing to this project. And most of the time, if you do your due diligence and you do it well and you look over it over and over and over again, you got to trust yourself. You know, that's how you make money in this world. At the end of the day, you might say, I'm going to try it with one box. It takes you a month to do that. And then all of a sudden the price is up and you missed your opportunity. And there it is. So you got to be able to pull the trigger when you see opportunity. That's what I'm doing here. And we're going to see how it works out. I will clearly be documenting it. I'm telling you, before we even get into the full breakdown, I'll probably make a video once they all come in. I've already secured my purchase price. So we'll just see. Hopefully the cards hold their value in the meantime and Foundations doesn't somehow tank them. Okay, well, this video is already getting long and I don't want to keep extending them when I've already made my point. I have documented my purchase price here, my plan, my strategy, how I got to my numbers, what I'm looking at for potential profit. I was going to potentially set up a camera and open up some packs, but I figure at this point in the video, I'll just pass on that. I'll probably just give an update when the vast majority of the inventory comes in. Maybe I'll do a mass box opening video, you know, open 20 and then get an idea of what kind of value we have. That'd be interesting. Let me know if you'd like to see that. I won't go pack by pack, but we'll just talk about it mainly and you'll just see a ton of cards piled up. A ton of Karlov Manor, a ton of stuff that people were just dumping on the streets of the internet and letting chumps like me scoop up. So we'll see if this works. I appreciate you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, give it a like, follow along as we grow this Magic the Gathering business. Let's see if we make any other big money moves and find other good deals. I'll be analyzing all kinds of stuff, so let me know if you see some opportunities out there and you want to see some videos made on it. We'll see what we can do. Thank you all again. We'll catch you in the next one.